Hi, this is Jim Peters with Peters Principles, and today we have Bruce Desmond, who is, you may remember, was a star football player. I remember that because I was on the same football team, but I got to warm the bench. And was one of the star football players on the state championship team.
Yep, that year. Yep, 1970 team. Yep.
Okay, what position did you play in that year?
I played fullback and middle linebacker.
Okay.
The whole time I was there, my sophomore, junior, and senior year.
Okay. And Bruce and I were good friends in high school, so that it's nice to see him again. I didn't realize he lived so close. He lives in Somerville. With my son living in Somerville, I see Somerville quite a bit, so
yep,
it's a nice town.
It is, very much so.
So Bruce's father, as many of you remember, was John Desmond, the Lowell City Councilor and state rep, and he lived on Manchester Street. Did he live on Manchester Street?
He did for a while. Yeah, we lived there just as I was graduating from high school, and I moved out shortly after that. But he was there for a few years, and then he moved over to Clark Road.
I knew your father's house because I always had the Desmond sign in it on during election season.
Yeah, the Desmond signs and bumper stickers on cars. We couldn't get away with anything.
Yeah, so it's about right. Yeah, having been a Peters, I kind of know what you're talking about. He started 3 seasons at fullback and linebacker for Lowell High School. In 1970, which was the year I was warming the bench, and Bruce was playing. We were state champs with a 9-0 record, and in 1971 we had a 7-2 record, and we're conference champs. Right. I wasn't on the team that year, but Bruce was.
Yeah, that was my senior year.
That was
right, and Billy Bailey was the quarterback. Jimmy Gill,
right.
Cliffy Whalen played. Brian Regan, Steve Sudol. Danny Dalton.
Yeah, we had a good team that year.
We did have a good team that year. We started off slow, but we lost our first 2 games, but then we won the last 7 in a row.
Well, that was the year I went out for cross country. The year last year of football.
Right. Yeah. So you were running cross country.
I was running cross country at that point. But it's neat to be with you. I feel like I'm in the midst of a legend.
Yeah, no. I used to tease, I'd say a legend in my own mind, Jim, but just joking, But it was fun. It was just a great time, and something that always treated me very well, during and after. Now
you have children now.
I do. I have 4 children. My oldest is 38. He works for the Somerville Police Department, and he's also the assistant boys basketball coach at Somerville High School. He's been the assistant coach there for about 11 years now. I've got a daughter that's 34, Caitlin. She runs a medical research company in Woburn. And my 2 youngest sons, Seamus is 24 and Joe, are working and trying to find their way out into the world now.
Yeah.
So
that's good. Now, you've been married for how many years?
38 years.
38 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been married for 41. I think my son's the same age as yours. My oldest son is the same age as your oldest.
Oh, is that right? Yeah.
Yeah. I think they're the same age. Bruce played football for Lowell High School, and that's one of the reasons that we're here, is that Bruce has been designated as... What's the official title?
Well, I'm getting inducted into the Lowell High Athletic Hall of Fame.
Okay.
Yeah,
great.
Myself and a few other people this year, which is, to me, a great honor. I'm really thrilled with the whole concept.
Yeah, well, I know that Brian Martin is in the Hall of Fame.
Right.
And he, of course, is the headmaster at Lowell High now. And I know quite a few people who are in the Hall of Fame at Lowell High School, but you're the first one I've had on TV, so.
There you go.
There you go. Anyway, so Bruce started 3 seasons at fullback and linebacker for Lowell High School. I'm reading this off of Bruce's paper. In 1973, you went to Berwick Academy Prep School in South Berwick, Maine. How was that?
That was it was an experience. I mean, it wasn't what I hoped that it was going to be, but I met some awfully great guys out there, and did my post-grad year and went on.
Did you go? You went on to college, right?
Yeah, I did. I went on. After that, I went to Northeastern.
Okay.
And I played 2 years at Northeastern after prep school. But the whole gist of all of these is the people that I've met and played with and against even.
You mentioned some that are incredible. Mike Ruzioni from Winthrop.
Yeah, Mike was on the football team with me there. We lived together up in the same dorm, and he went to BU, and I went to Northeastern. So we stayed pretty close friends from then on, and we still get together a couple of times a year now.
This is the Mike Ruzioni who went on with the Olympic team, right?
He was on, right. He scored the winning goal to beat the USSR in the 1980 team. Yeah, he was captain of that team.
I was so nervous about that game that I was in the kitchen doing dishes, watching their game like this.
Yeah.
And, it just was.
Yeah,
I was
great
so
guy.
Nervous about that game.
Yeah, a great guy. That's.
And he's the one who took the. Is he the one who took the flag and?
He was on the
Skated
podium.
with the flag?
That was Jim Craig.
Oh, Jim Craig.
Mike was on the podium. He's the one that told all the team to come up with him on the podium, and they all squeezed onto this little box.
Podium.
Yeah, the little podium. But yeah, Mike is he's quite a guy, and he's very generous with his time, and still lives in Winthrop.
Have you seen the gold medal, or?
I have seen it. Yeah.
Is it,
Yeah.
What's it like? Is it?
It wasn't as large as the ones you see now. It was a little bit smaller. But, yeah, I did see it. He keeps it locked up. But we were over there one night. A couple of guys from Berwick had gotten together over there one night, and he had gotten it out of the safe deposit.
Deposit box?
Yeah.
I would keep it in the safe deposit box,
Yeah.
too. That was quite a accomplishment.
Right. America's guest, they call him now. He's everywhere.
Is he?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. And it says here he was captain of the 1980 USA hockey team that won the gold medal, which we knew just by his name, actually.
Sure, yeah. Yeah.
After football, you transferred to Bridgewater State College?
Yeah, I played like I said, I played 2 years at Northeastern. I had gotten a shoulder injury when I was in prep school, and it just got to be too much. So I had left Northeastern, and I went to Bridgewater State to finish up there as a phys ed major. And there were a lot of kids from Lowell up there. I was really surprised when I did get up there to see the number of kids from Lowell that were going to Bridgewater State. It was a great school. Great, and I still think it is. I really think the world of that place.
I went to Lowell State College, and then they turned it into a university, and of course they turned Bridgewater into a university too. So it's now Bridgewater State University, right?
Yes, it is. That's right.
Okay.
Yep.
And I went to Lowell State College, and it became Lowell University. And the funny story about that was that I was given a Bachelor of Science degree for a degree in political science. And I don't think anybody in history has been given a Bachelor of Science degree for a degree in political science, but I've got it at home framed on the wall.
There you go. Then that's it then. You've got it.
I've got it. So you were a phys ed major.
Yeah, I was, but I never really got a chance to teach. At that point in time, they were laying off teachers, and so there weren't any jobs around for new kids coming out of school.
So what did you do?
Well, that's when my brother Jack and I, who was a teacher at the time and had been laid off, the two of us got jobs at the Demoulas warehouse out in Tewksbury.
Oh, right.
We were unloading trains and loading trucks, and it was really backbreaking work, but it was a pretty good initiative to find other interests, find another job. But so I did, and that's when I got hired for in Boston. I was an aide to Mayor Kevin White when he was mayor of Boston.
Oh, were you?
Yeah, and that's what took me out of Lowell. That's when we left Lowell, and we moved down to Boston.
Did you see a lot of him?
Oh, yeah. No, I saw him every day.
Yeah.
It was the best job I ever had. He was quite a guy.
Yeah.
And he was very good to me, and his wife, Catherine, as well. Just two great people.
I campaigned for him when he was running for governor.
Yeah.
That's as close as I got to him. Was campaigning for him in Lowell.
Yeah. I got to see him on a daily basis, which was really nice. And I worked for him the last 5 years he was in office.
He was quite a guy, from what I.
He was a great guy. He was bright. In fact, he's the one that got me into computers to begin with. He actually paid for me to go take my first course in computer programming, and after that I just kept going.
Now, where did you get your? Where did you go that year in computers?
I went to the Northeastern again. I went back to Northeastern University and did the data processing management program there, and I finished that up in the early '80s. But IT it's the kind of business where you continually have to keep going because it changes so fast.
Right.
So for me, it was a matter of learning the Wang products, learning Microsoft, learning IBM, digital, and all those things turned over eventually after a while. And now Cisco networking is the last industry that I got certified in. Mm-hmm. But that's how I ended up with my training and just going to the different schools.
So you're the IT manager in Somerville?
Right, I'm the CIO, Chief Information Officer. Yep,
okay.
In charge of all the computers.
Oh, well, that's good. When did you start that, Bruce?
In Somerville?
In Somerville.
In Somerville, I started that job in 2014. I was in an elected office for 16 years there as an alderman at large, which is similar to our councillors here. And I didn't run for re-election in 2014, and the mayor had offered me this job because I.
Is it a strong mayor?
Yes, it's a strong mayor, right. Yeah,
okay.
Joe Curtatone is the mayor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I met him. He ran for governor last year, didn't he?
He did not, no. But he's very active at the conventions.
Very active at the convention, then.
Yes.
Yeah, that's where I saw him.
Yeah, he is. Very aggressive kid. I call him a kid. He's in his late 40s, mid to late 40s, and but he's doing a great job in Somerville, and I hope he does decide to try to go further on, because I think he could be a good governor or a good congressman, or he's a good public servant. Very bright kid.
Seemed to be very bright when I talked to him. I have some advantages when I try to talk to people because I married well.
You married well, but you've been around. Yeah, you've been around the business for a long time, Jim. So you do know more than the average guy that they're going to meet on the street.
Yeah. Well, I enjoyed being related to Paul Songus because it just was fun. I mean, you drive into his driveway and there would be a television truck out there. and even when he was out of office, that was the case because he always had new ideas.
Yeah, he did.
And he was always
he was very innovative person.
So yeah, I'm Bill Bailey and I are on the zoning board together.
Oh, okay.
So I see him quite often.
Yeah.
So you're an adjunct faculty member at Leslie College School of Management. That's Leslie University now.
It's Leslie University now. Yeah, I'm not on it presently. I taught there for 8 years, and when I did get elected into office, the time constraints were just too much, and I had to. I gave that up then. But for 8 years, I did teach there. It was a great place. It's right down the street from my house too, so it worked out well for me.
I liked it. I was walking past it one night, going on my way to my son's house, and it just seemed like a nice campus.
It really is, and it always amazes me. But because the property down there is extremely expensive, and they seem to be buying up quite a bit of it. It's amazing that they have that much of a bankroll that they can be doing that. But they are. So it's really they're very successful.
Now, what did you do in the school committee? That anything that was new, or
when I was on the school committee in Somerville? But basically, it was I pushed for full day kindergarten,
Oh,
early,
good.
early pre-K. I pushed for. We used to send our handicapped kids would be going out to different schools for out of town, so they'd be on vans for 2 hours going to school, 2 hours coming back, and we set up a program that they were attending the same schools as everybody else was in Lowell, and it worked out very well. Something I'm very proud of. Those programs are still going strong today, and they've become part of that community, which I believe was important, rather than sending them off out of town to go to school. So it's I was on the school committee for 4 years, and
Now, that was a citywide school committee, right?
no, that was a ward.
was a ward?
I represented a ward,
Oh,
Ward
okay.
3 in Somerville, right. When I was an alderman, I was at large, so I did have the whole city then.
Oh, okay. And you were, for 12 years, you were the alderman at large in Somerville?
Yes, right.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it was a good experience. We've made a lot of changes down there, and I think the city's really moving in the right direction, and has been for a while. So
Now, you worked for the U.S. Air Force, or you...
that was just
consulted
it was right. It was an 03 position, teaching some networking courses at different bases. So I traveled to different bases for long weekends, or maybe stay for a week and do an intensive week's worth of training for officers there, and for networking.
Okay. Now, this one really kind of struck me. You started a Somerville Boxing Club,
Yes.
and
There was a Somerville Boxing Club for many years, and it disbanded, and there wasn't one for quite a few years. And Norman Stone, I don't know how familiar you are with boxing. Norman Stone was Johnny Ruiz's manager and trainer. He's a Somerville guy, and he brought Johnny Ruiz. He won the heavyweight championship of the world, and so Norman's pretty well known in the business. And he had come to me and asked if I could help him get the club started again. And it was something that always interested me, and I wanted to do something else with it besides just the boxing. But we've introduced a lot of different programs, to academic tutoring for the kids. We anti-drug, anti-alcohol policies where we have teachers come in and talk to the kids about the different, all the dangers, and we have therapists come in and work with kids that are getting off drugs. We really do an awful lot down there. We have nutritionists would come in and talk to the kids about good nutrition and things like that. So we're a very active place.
did you know Arthur Romalo?
Oh, sure, I know Arthur very well.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep, I see Arthur. Well, I see him at all the Golden Gloves fights, and he comes up. He has a ring that we rent from him for. We have an outdoor event every year at the football stadium, and we rent it from Arthur, so I see him.
Oh,
At that point,
I did a TV show on him about, I don't know, 4 years ago.
Is that right? Yeah.
He's a very nice guy.
Great guy. He really is a great guy, and he's done an awful lot with boxing in Lowell.
Joseph Downs.
Sure.
Joseph Downs, okay. Joseph Downs was on the TV show, and he said that Arthur was, at one point, was without a heavyweight boxer. So he decided to box himself in Maine.
Yeah, I believe that. I believe that.
So he worked out and became
Those are two
boxer.
people that are very big in boxing in Massachusetts.
Really?
Arthur and Joe Downs. Both of them are. And there's another girl, she lives in Drake now, but I don't know if you remember Laurie Purcell. She went to Lowell High. She graduated
Name
in
rings a bell,
'69.
but I don't remember.
She's an official with USA Boxing, and she's done an awful lot as well, a sweetheart of a person. And she was actually named not too long ago the USA Boxing Official of the Year in the United States. And between those three people, they've done great things for the sport here in Massachusetts.
I'm very interested in the fact that it's taken off in Massachusetts. I grew up in Illinois,
Right.
and there wasn't much about boxing at all.
Right.
And then it came out here, and of course you have the Golden Gloves.
Right.
You have the Arthur Romalo studio, not studio,
His gym. Yeah.
his gym, and you have other programs in Somerville and
Right.
other cities around
Yeah.
the state.
You always see the real competition always comes between the Lowell and Somerville gyms.
Is that right?
Yeah, it really is. It's really interesting to see that whole dynamic.
Well, you win no matter what, right?
That's right. That's right. It's
You're from both, so.
yeah. So, but they're both towns are great boxing communities.
Yeah, I was very impressed with the fact that your goal is to keep kids in school, off the street, out of court, and free of drugs and alcohol.
Yeah, we
which I
work
think
very closely with the Somerville District Court, the Somerville Police Department. A lot of police officers, rather than arresting somebody and putting them in the system, they'll bring them down to us first. And we'll make them come every day after school. And if they don't, then the police officer can do what he has to do. But a lot of kids have taken advantage of it. We have over 500 kids that belong to the club now. And not all boxing, but a lot of them come down just to work out or watch kids spar, and it's a good place they don't have to be out in the street hanging around. They can always come there.
Now, what effect has the opioid usage had on kids in?
And so it's been devastating, like it has been everywhere else. Nobody's free from it, and that's why it's important. The more education that we can get out there, the more advanced, the more that we can stay ahead of things like that, the better off we are. Getting kids early, and teaching them about the dangers of it and how just taking it once can hook you up and ruin your life. So Somerville's lost too many kids. I've been to too many funerals of kids that have, and it's all been great kids. They get hooked up with that stuff, and we lost them. We lose them way too early.
We had a situation in Lowell where we had a grandfather who died, and 2 days later his grandson died.
Yeah.
And his grandson was on something. I don't know what, but
Doesn't matter what it is, and it's all dangerous to kids.
yeah.
And the younger that they start doing it, the more harm it does to them.
I always thought, now she took a lot of heat for this, but I always thought that Ronald Reagan's wife Nancy was correct in saying, just don't do it. Say no.
Yeah. I think I just find it's a little simplistic,
It's a little simplistic,
but because there's so much more to it. I mean, kids are self-medicating, and that's where the big issue comes with drugs. We're missing something there. We're not capturing everything, and unfortunately, we depend on school systems to provide this for some reason. I mean, they're supposed to be educating the kids. But somehow we expect them to do miracles as far as who's on drugs, who's not on drugs, who's doing this, and that's not what they were trained for. And so we need to make sure that there's other people responsible besides the schools that are looking for this, and that's one of the reasons we started the club, to make sure that we were doing our part as well.
Well, you have 2 national Golden Glove champions in 2015 and 2016.
Two girls.
2 girls.
Yeah.
2 girls. Okay.
Yeah, and one of them almost made the Olympic team. She lost in the finals. She would have been on the Olympic team.
That would have been amazing.
It would have been. Yeah,
Yeah.
it would have been. And it's just been a very satisfying experience, the whole thing. And I'll tell you what's nice about the club, we don't charge any dues. Kids can go there for nothing. We made an arrangement with the city, the mayor. We use the basement of an old school for the gym, and he doesn't charge us any rent. So
that's good.
we don't have any overhead. We don't have to charge kids at all. If you're over 21, we try to get $25 a month, but under that, we don't charge.
Yeah, that's
And
good.
so there's never any problems as far as that goes.
We're about out of time, but I did want to say that I've known Bruce for 40 years.
Yep.
Yeah, 40 years, and he's an incredible person. He was an incredible kid in high school, and everybody looked up to him. And Bruce, it's been a pleasure having you here.
Jim, I really
Thank you very
appreciate you
much.
being here. Thank you very much. And I always love coming back to Lowell. It's still my home.
Okay, we'll make you a disc of this.
Oh, please do.
Okay.
Please do.
All right. This is Jim Peters, and this has been Peters Principles with Bruce Desmond, who is going to be in the Hall of Fame at Lowell High School. So congratulations on that, Bruce.
Thank you very much, Jim.
Okay. Thank you.